Hey doing everyone, welcome back. So I told you that I'd give you the commentary at a later date on the incident with Trump at his golf course down in Palm Beach. Excuse me. Um, just to recap, uh, Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old. He's been a construction worker in North Carolina. He has most recently been living in Hawaii. Uh, he aimed an AK-47 style rifle through a shrubbery-lined or plant-lined fence at Trump International Golf Club. He was about 400 to 500 yards away from Trump. He does have a criminal history, possession of stolen goods, a revoked driver's license, resisting an officer, hit and run, weapons violations, things of that nature. So definitely not a good guy. He went to Ukraine. Apparently it's unclear as to whether or not he actually fought for Ukraine, which I had said last time he did. That's unclear. It sounds like he probably did, but we don't know that for sure. But he does support Ukraine against their war with Russia. This incident does appear to be politically motivated. He did vote for Trump in 2016. So I've got notes here that I'm following along with, so bear with me. Like I said, he voted for Trump in 2016. In 2020, he supported Tulsi Gabbard, who was running as a Democrat at the time. I don't know who he supported after Tulsi was out. I don't know who he supported after that. This year, however, he wanted a Republican ticket of Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. Basically, he thought that was the ticket that could beat Trump. He is politically unaffiliated. Now, has he always been politically unaffiliated? I don't know. I don't have that information. But he is currently politically unaffiliated. He has made donations to Act Blue. If you don't know what Act Blue is, that's an organization that supports Democrats. He has made several donations to them, but those multiple donations added up to less than $150. So very small donations, like maybe 10 to 15 bucks at a time. Okay. Now, we know what most of the facts are in the case. We know that he's been detained. He is in custody. We know that the FBI, the Secret Service, and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department are investigating this situation. Apparently, the Florida State Police are also involved. Governor Ron DeSantis, he wants a further investigation to see if any state laws were violated, which clearly there were. But and DeSantis actually should have his people looking into that as far as state laws. But now I'm going to get into some commentary on that, right? Because we know what the facts are. We know that there are conspiracy theories out there. This is some big plot to get Trump, to end him, basically. And like I said last time, ballots, not bullets, are how we settle our political disputes in this country. Ballots, not bullets. So for those of you out there talking about a civil war, shut up. Seriously, just shut up. Because you don't know what you're asking for. But this incident was not a failure of the Secret Service. I know some right-wing talking heads are saying it was a failure of the Secret Service. No, it absolutely was not. The Secret Service noticed him and eliminated the threat, actually without even hurting the guy. They eliminated the threat. Okay? Secret Service did their jobs. They did it well. Now, if you're going to argue that the previous situation in Pennsylvania was a failure of the Secret Service, I'm not going to argue that. That was absolutely a failure on their part. There's no way he should have been up on that roof. But when you're talking a golf course and there's vegetation, I mean, a golf course is huge. And you can't have Secret Service literally everywhere. Not even Joe Biden has that kind of protection. Okay, and he is the current sitting president. An argument could be made that Secret Service protection needs to be stepped up for Trump and Harris, and I would not disagree with that argument. But to say that this was a failure of the Secret Service, no, it wasn't. This was a success on the part of the Secret Service because they were the ones who stopped anything from happening. They stopped an attempt on his life. And that's what they're supposed to do. It was the Secret Service that fired all the shots. Ralph did not fire any shots. Okay? Now, there is no grand conspiracy to get Trump. First of all, the people out there saying that, all these left-wingers are trying to take him out, well, the guy in Pennsylvania, registered Republican, a known Trump supporter, always took the conservative side when there were debates in school. He came from a MAGA family. Okay, so that situation was not politically motivated. We know that. The one in Pennsylvania was not. Okay, and honestly, that guy, he was also looking up Biden's movements, so he would have taken a shot at whoever he had a chance to take a shot at first. It just happened to be Trump. This guy, the guy in Florida, absolutely politically motivated. Absolutely. But he's clearly not a left-winger if he was supporting Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. And, I'm sorry, but Tulsi Gabbard, even when she was supposedly a left-wing Democrat, was not a left-wing Democrat. She was a right-leaning centrist Democrat. And Donald Trump, well, the guy voted for Donald Trump. So, basically, he was a disgruntled Trump voter. Disillusioned with Trump now. All right? And there's a lot of that. Now, granted, the vast majority of disillusioned and disgruntled Trump voters, they don't want to hurt him. They don't want him dead. They just want him to go away. All right? And I think that's true of really most of America. We just want him to go away. We just don't want to hear from you anymore. If there was a conspiracy to get Trump to eliminate him permanently, well, first of all, if there was a vast conspiracy against Trump, the first thing is he never would have won in 2016. All right, he wouldn't have been allowed to win. But he was allowed to win by narrow margins in key states. And then in 2020, he lost by very narrow margins in key states. Okay, now, is there a conspiracy to take him out? No. How do I know this? Because if there was, he wouldn't exist anymore. Come on, you know full well just how massive our government is. If there was that kind of a conspiracy, he would not exist anymore. All right? A lot of people believe that JFK was a victim of a government conspiracy. Actually, most people believe that. So we know that if it was a conspiracy, he would not exist, because he's surrounded by Secret Service, and he has been for the last, 9 years or so. 8 or 9 years, he's been surrounded by Secret Service. So he's got government agents around him all the time. There's plenty of opportunity there. All right? And for those that are saying that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric, what rhetoric? I mean, yes, he is a threat to democracy. And guess what? I'm not going to shy away from saying that, and you shouldn't either. Because it's true. He tried to overthrow an election. Okay? He himself has made comments advocating for political violence or mocking political violence. You remember when Paul Pelosi was beaten with a hammer? He was out there making jokes about that. Mocking Paul Pelosi for being beaten nearly to death with a hammer. At his rallies in 2015, 2016, just punch him in the face. Or I'd like to punch him in the face. Or, you know what? In the old days, they would just rough him up. And, you know, if somebody punches him in the face, I'll pay your legal bills. Let's not forget January 6th of 2021, shall we? Fight like hell. And if you're not going to fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Sure, he said peacefully and patriotically. And that does not negate months of lying to people, telling them that the election is going to be stolen. Those words, peacefully and patriotically, does not negate everything else that he said. Just like if he had only said the words, fight like hell, you know, you got to fight like hell. All right, that alone is not a problem. But when you put it in the context, in the greater context of everything else, fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore after getting these people riled up for months. No. Not buying it. Now, that is not to say that the shots taken at him back in July, that is not to say he deserved to be shot at. And it does not mean that this guy down here in Florida should have attempted to take his life had he been able to get that shot. Okay, there is no excuse for political violence from anyone at any time, ever. We settle our disputes with ballots, not bullets. Okay? So, does the rhetoric need to be toned down? Yes. Who needs to tone it down? The people who have it cranked up, which is those on the right, those in Trump's circle. So yeah, tone the rhetoric down, and you'd be surprised how quick some of this stuff will go away. I'll see you next time.